The first thing that you'll notice about the R500 is that it's amazingly slim. If we set it here next to a Lenovo X61, you can really get a feel for how trim this is. At 0.77 inches at its thinnest part, even a dime starts to look big by comparison. The Toshiba weighs in at 2.5 pounds, which is right in the sweet spot of ultra-portable weight. The good news is, though, is it's got an optical drive, which is something that you're not going to find in too many ultra-portables of that weight class. The only downside to the optical drive is that the PC card slot is right underneath it. So if you're using a Verizon card or other WLAN card, the optical is going to bump into it when it comes out. It's a design compromise, though, that's probably well worth it considering everything else that Toshiba packs into the R500. One of the highlights of the 12-inch screen that the R500 packs in is the fact that it's so thin. Part of the compromise, though, is that there's a great deal of flex in the material. Now, it's not flex that we're worried about actually damaging the screen. You can see I'm putting a good deal of pressure on the back of the unit. There's no rippling effect on the screen and no distortions. It's meant to take that kind of abuse, but it's something that you should be aware of. The R500 has a keyboard that offers full-size keys in addition to function keys like page up, page down, located here, and home and end that are dedicated that we typically don't see in ultra-portable notebooks. The only real downside of the keyboard is because of the construction, there's a little bit of flex if you put a great deal of pressure on some of the keys. You know, pressure to the L here is giving a raise to the F12 and print screen buttons. It doesn't mean that the experience is bad by any stretch, but it's just something to be aware of for those who are sticklers to keyboard quality. Also on the front of the machine here, we've got a nice large touchpad. The touchpad is responsive and feels pretty good and is actually quite a bit larger than others in the class. In between the two mouse function keys, we've got a nice biometric scanner for logging into the machine securely, along with an LED panel across the front indicating battery status, Wi-Fi networks, and so on. This is a pre-production unit, but we have noticed a little bit of quality concerns surrounding the click action on the mouse buttons. They're a little shallow and don't provide the feedback that we'd like to see. It is pre-production, though, so that may or may not be resolved in the final version of hardware. One thing the R500 did not compromise on is ports. In addition to your standards like your VGA, your power jack, they also have a wide variety of USBs. There's 3, one on this side and 2 on the other, and also a volume wheel, which is unique to designs of most notebooks. The function keys are typically the way the volume's adjusted, so it's interesting and a nice feature to have that wheel in place. On the other side, we've got the optical drive, the PC card slot, the memory card slot, another USB, and the Ethernet. Underneath, the R500 has a docking station port, which is something we'd like to see in more ultra-portables. You'll also see another instance of the case flex in the memory door. The battery life, while we can't quote specifics because it's a pre-production unit, we have been seeing around 2.5 to 3 hours depending on the applications we've been running, which is pretty impressive for a battery this size.